Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks for the Spain News Update. And the transport workers' strike here in Spain, which has been disrupting the country for the last 3 weeks, has been called off temporarily. But more about that in just a moment. Firstly, a big thanks to all of the people that left comments on the last video. Lots of comments, lots of debate happening there as usual. Thanks to people that supported the channel by buying merchandise. And a big thanks to my patrons on Patreon for your ongoing support. Now, let's get into the news. And as I said, the transport workers' strike, which has been crippling the country for the last 3 weeks or so, has been suspended temporarily. And as we can see here, transport workers temporarily suspend strike after 20 days of demonstrations. The Platform for the Defence of the Road Transport Sector has agreed to temporarily suspend the strike that these self-employed hauliers and SMEs began on the 14th of March and will resume at the time they consider appropriate, which will be sooner rather than later. This was decided after 20 days of demonstrations and after consulting those attending the assembly held at a service station in the Madrid town of San Fernando de Henares, which was attended by around 100 hauliers from all over Spain. So the strike, as we saw, suspended temporarily, and transport workers threatening to continue with the strike sooner rather than later. Now, as we know, last Friday, the 1st of April, was the day that the government rebate of 20 cents per litre on fuel came into effect. And for many petrol stations, having to apply this rebate caused chaos. As we can see here, around 200 petrol stations do not open due to computer and financial problems, while others run out of fuel. Some 200 petrol stations throughout Spain were not able to open last Saturday due to the computer problems that have been occurring since last Thursday, when the compulsory discount introduced by the government came into force, and also due to a lack of financial capacity to be able to bring forward this price reduction. 2 days after service stations have to apply this discount of 20 cents per litre, another of the big problems that Spanish petrol stations that are operating normally are facing is that they are running out of fuel due to the increase in demand, according to EFE from the Spanish Confederation of Service Station Entrepreneurs, the sector's employers association. So the government fuel rebate causing havoc at numerous service stations around the country, with service stations having financial problems, IT problems, and others running out of fuel. Now, Spain's main opposition party, the Partido Popular, has a new leader, Alberto Núñez Feijóo, and according to this article, Feijóo and Moreno dominate the new PP with Ayuso at a distance. The new leader of the Partido Popular, Alberto Núñez Feijóo, descended the escalators of the Palacio de Congresos in Seville, together with the president of the Junta de Andalucía, Juanma Moreno, after making the names of the party's leadership official. The president of Madrid, Isabel Díaz Ayuso, descended on foot parallel to them, an image that perfectly reflects the game of alliances that the Galician has finally opted for. Feijóo has made a tandem with Moreno, consolidating the power of the Andalusian Baron in this new PP. It is the Andalusia-Galicia axis from which the Madrid Baroness, who looks at this coalition with suspicion and from a distance, is somewhat distanced. So when you look for the Partido Popular, with former Galician leader Alberto Núñez Feijóo in charge, and as we saw, he's formed an alliance with Andalusian Premier Juanma Moreno. And no surprises to see the dangerous Isabel Díaz Ayuso on the outer. Now, we also saw in the news last week how Spain and Portugal have become an energy island inside the European Union, and basically what this means is that Spain and Portugal can set their own prices when it comes to electricity. But as we can read here, European electricity companies are against Sanchez's intervention in prices. It's just what Putin wants, they say. As Moncloa titled its communique of the 25th after the European Council, it seemed to be a done deal. The EU recognises the uniqueness of Spain and Portugal and allows them to carry out exceptional measures to lower the price of electricity. The President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, confirmed special treatment, and it seemed that the proposal of the President of the government, Pedro Sánchez, would be approved at lightning speed. But there are important short circuits which, as this newspaper has been able to confirm, are joined by pressure from Eurelectric, the association of the main European electricity companies, considered one of the main lobbies in Brussels. So the main European electrical companies thinking that perhaps it's not a good idea to allow people like Pedro Sánchez to intervene in the market. Now, with the Easter break just around the corner, the tourism sector here in Spain is getting ready for an influx of tourists. And as we can read here, international tourism returns to Spain. Bookings on the islands for Easter week exceed those of 2019. All indicators point to the fact that this Easter could be the first time that international tourism returns to pre-pandemic levels. It will not happen across the board in all destinations, nor will the same number of tourists arrive from the same usual source markets, but the outlook, they say, is very optimistic. After 2 seasons of frustrated recovery of international visitors due to the appearance of new variants, it seems that the mid-April holidays will once again fill the beaches with foreign tourists. This is indicated by data from the Ministry of Tourism, which reflect how advanced bookings in several cities in the Canary and Balearic Islands already exceed those recorded in 2019. So there we go, big news for the tourism sector here in Spain, as bookings on the islands, the Balearics and the Canaries, exceed those of 2019. So is the tourism sector back from the abyss? Let's hope so. And a question that no doubt many tourists that are planning to visit here at Easter will be asking is, will they need to wear a mask indoors? Well, as we can see here, the Health Ministry's idea is to remove the mask indoors at Easter. Soon, very soon, sooner rather than later, or the most innovative, 1 day less, uttered by Carolina Darius on Friday. These are the words repeated by government ministers, and especially by the Minister of Health, when asked by journalists when the end of masks indoors will be decreed. On the 21st of February, President Pedro Sánchez spoke for the first time about the withdrawal of the last pandemic restriction. But almost a month and a half later, the worsening of the epidemiological situation has put the brakes on the government's plans, which dreamed of a spring or, at the latest, an Easter week without this element of protection in covered places. The deadlines are now up in the air, but pressure is mounting from opposition parties and some communities. So will or won't the indoor mask mandate be removed for Easter? Time will tell. Now let's have a look at some of the comments from previous videos. One here from Martin. Hola Stuart, muchas gracias por el video. Had a great time in Estepona. The murals are amazing and a good way of seeing different areas. Got to Murcia by bus via Malaga. The mountains are amazing. Yeah, Martin, thanks for the comment, and good to see that you had a fantastic time down there in Estepona, Malaga. And I've heard that the murals that you mentioned in your comment are attracting people from all over Spain. So an interesting initiative from the Estepona Town Hall to turn an otherwise ugly building into a piece of art. One here from David. Fun, isn't it? People think that there will be a shortage of certain items or things, so they go out and buy lots of or stockpile those items and in turn create a shortage, which means when people find those items, they buy even more, and means governments and supermarkets have to start rationing said items. So inducing more panic buying all start by good old human greed. Yeah, David, thanks for the comment, and obviously referring to the fact that lots of supermarkets here in Spain have had empty shelves recently, not only because of the transport strike, but because people are buying up certain products in bulk. For example, milk, flour, salt, oil, and other products like that. And as you point out in your comment, it all comes down to human greed. One here from Steve. Thanks, Stu. Just curious about the local craft beer festival. If only 40% of people wore masks, did the rest stay 1.5 meters apart from each other? Yes, Steve, thanks for the comment and referring to that craft beer festival that I mentioned in yesterday's live stream. And to answer your question, were people maintaining that 1.5 meter social distance? The answer is it depends. People that were there with a group of friends were not maintaining a social distance, but the different groups of people were separated by around 1.5 meters. But it was good to see people out and about again socializing, people from all ages, young people, old people together again, and enjoying a few local craft beers. One here from Marie Jose. In Torrevieja, we can see a 20-cent discount on our petrol receipt. No major queues at all. Love your channel. Take care. Yeah, Marie Jose, thanks for the comment and glad you like the channel. And also good to see that you were able to fill up the car and get your 20-cent per litre discount without any major hassles. Because as we saw earlier in the video, that wasn't the case in many service stations around the country. One here from Walter. Hello Stuart, really like your channel. Think that most viewers like when you present from your car or backyard. Ever thought of doing more outside presentations from Retiro Park, Prado, etc.? Thanks and be well. Yeah, Walter, thanks for the comment, and also good to see that you like the channel. And to be honest, I'm not sure what type of videos viewers prefer. The ones here in the studio, the ones I do in the backyard, or the ones I do in my car. And have I ever thought of doing more outdoor presentations? The answer is yes. but unfortunately it's not easy to film outside, and that's because the weather conditions can influence the quality of the video. For example, when I record here in this studio, the weather doesn't come into play. The lights, the camera and the sound are always the same. But when you record outside, that is not the case, because if it's too windy, it can affect the sound, and if it's one of those days when it's both cloudy and sunny, it can also affect the image. So I would like to record outside more, but I prefer a controlled environment, for example the studio or the car, which is also controlled. And finally, one here from Alethea. Hi Stu, love watching. Why not do a phone-in focusing on one or two topics? Yeah, Alethea, thanks for the comment and thanks for the suggestion. And maybe I could do a phone-in and concentrate on one or two topics during my live streams. So if anybody's interested in doing that during one of the live streams, please let me know in the comment section below or get in contact with me at SpainSpeaks/contact. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.